Welcome in everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host of the day, Cole Jackson of Road Graders, and of course DK. And this time Brad is even in the background helping things out. We may have a guest star appearance at some point during this show. I'll tease that a little bit, but not let you know exactly who that person is. But we got a lot to cover in this episode. I know we've been doing a ton of draft stuff as of late, but this time I just wanted to get into some of the storylines and the news that's been circulating the team as of late, because there's been a ton with players showing up, doing press conferences, talking to the media once again. We're getting updates of still another Raven, another ex-Raven, I should say, signing with another team, a familiar team. So yeah, we got lots to get into. But first and foremost, Cole, how you doing? How's Canada treating you this evening?
Good. The girls are healthy for the first time since February, so we've been 1 week incident free. So it's been good. It's just been nice to in the morning kick their asses out the door to daycare and school and just be able to work. So no, doing good. Happy to be back here in Jimmy's chair. I'll make sure it stays real warm.
Nice. What's going on, Connor? And Dikembe Mutombo is in our chat, ladies and gentlemen. I want to do the finger wag, but I won't because I know he's a bit litigious when it comes to that finger wag, okay? And I don't want to step on any toes. But shout out to Dikembe in the chat. What's going on, Jamal, my guy, and Jax and Adam? Appreciate you coming out.
Hey, man, big shout out to Jax, he's the one that flagged my mic. So before we got on, I said, hold on, guys. Let me check my settings. I made sure the mic was set up. So appreciate you.
Jax coming in clutch. And speaking of Jax, what's going on, Adam? Appreciate you coming out and the wonderful and beautiful Katie, who I love, my love. But anyway, yesterday at the game, the pitcher for the Twins that we watched him warm up, talked a little trash while he was in the bullpen. Last name was Jax, spelled just like that, Jax. And what did he do? He came in and gave up that Cedric, that walk-off home run for the first time in his career. Shout out to Cedric Mullins and the O's for pulling off the win yesterday in front of me, my son.
Nice sweep for you guys, too. Nice sweep.
Dude, it's just what we do, man. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you, it's just what we do. Staying hydrated all along the way, of course. Let's see. You know what? We got a lot to get into, and Caleb's already touching on one of the subjects, and I'm just gonna start right there. Cole, Tyus Bowser was a mystery to most Ravens fans last year. After, signing a pretty nice contract with the Ravens to stick around, the versatile linebacker that he is, and then we don't see him, we don't hear from him, we don't know what the hell is going on with Tyus Bowser all last year, and now. Is he suing? What is this? What do they call it?
We filed a grievance. So most people will remember this because it's happened with Earl Thomas. So they're two distinct situations. They're not a grievance over the same issue, but essentially because Tyus Bowser didn't get his game checks last year because he was on NFI, he was medically cleared, and he was choosing not to play based on him making a decision over his own health. So he wasn't being paid. And so now that he's been cut, so it's the act of getting cut. That's when Earl Thomas filed his grievance. Now he's filing a grievance for, I believe it's $4.5 million, which is what he sacrificed in game checks to try and recoup that. So as a result, they have lost $1.8 million this year. And if it's successful, they will recoup that 1.8 in next year's cap when this is wrapped up. And if he's successful, they'll lose an additional 2.7. So Tyus Bowser just, they have enough triggers at their disposal that if they want to go sign a vet corner, they can still do it. But for a team that's so close to the cap all the time, 1.8 matters. Like it's not not like we're the Browns that have 20 million cap space all season. It's pretty significant. So just and we can dive into the details a little bit more and kind of our opinions on it, but that's essentially how I see it and that's how it went down. And that's how it was Ravens salary cap. Brian McFarland, he's the one that came out with the tweet that explained all of the details. So if you guys want the specifics, go check out Brian McFarland's tweet.
Yeah, and it's certainly puzzling because in my position, I guess the Ravens' position is that they are saying, or at least indicating, that he must have done something that, I mean, it was obviously outside of their building, but also I got to imagine they must think it was outside of the realm of this is what I'm doing to get ready for the season. Because we've seen this in the history with Terrell Suggs got hurt playing basketball in preparation for the season, but we didn't see this treatment of Terrell Suggs. Now, of course, his stardom, I'm sure, played a role in that and his talent. But does this tell you that the Ravens are saying that Tyus Bowser must have been doing something that either they deem dangerous and that he shouldn't have been doing, or that they say that this isn't something you're doing to get ready for the football season?
So this is the distinction. So he played the 2022 playoff game. So he played the last game in 2022. Then he came into the 2023 offseason, like the OTAs or I think it was mandatories or whatever. And he had the leg sleeve on and he was hurt. So basically the two arguments are going to be this. There's going to be an argument from Tyus Bowser. I'm assuming, like, I don't know what his argument is, but his only argument, and I asked around to make sure that I had this right. He's going to argue that he was hurt in the 2022 season, or it's a carryover injury. And we have seen some cleanup surgeries, right? We saw Ronnie Stanley get a cleanup surgery, J.K. Dobbins get a cleanup surgery. Rashod Bateman had that issue after his Lisfranc, and he had to have like a scope or some shit. So we've seen this happen. And so that his argument will be that the injury that kept him out this year was from a Ravens related injury, basically. Right. And the team, I'm assuming, are going to say that, no, you got hurt doing whatever it is you were doing, playing pickleball for all we know. And so that's going to be that's the hearing. So they will go to a hearing, they'll present their facts, all that shit. So the thing that I have a problem with is he was medically cleared to play football in November. He was running around, and this is what I tweeted about today. And the note about Greg Roman, that was a joke. Someone said he's the one that left remember there was a note that said fire Greg Roman. That was just a joke on Twitter. But what I said on Twitter about the T-shirt cannon, it's because before the games he was running up and down the sidelines throwing T-shirts into the stands, like interacting with fans. Yeah, he was like, it wasn't that he didn't want anything to do with the Ravens. He was pretty involved. He was doing local media events with Rita and Glenn Martin. Yeah, he had his own show. Yeah, or Glenn Martin. Glenn
you said the right name.
No, Glenn Clark.
Glenn Clark.
Sorry. I'm literally staring at your name as I say that. So Rita and Glenn do that show together, and Tyus Bowser was joining them. So it's not like he was just disappeared for the last year. And so the question the whole time was, where the fuck was he? Why wasn't he playing football? From my understanding of the situation, he did not feel that he was healthy enough to play football. The doctors cleared him, and he chose not to play. So, I don't know the ins and outs. I'm sure there's details that we're going to find out about. But my God, if you're medically cleared and you choose not to play, to turn around and file a grievance, like, on one hand, there's no downside to him doing this because he can drop it at any time. And the worst case scenario is just all the fans that he probably doesn't give a crap what we think, just think he's a dick. And on the most, like, he can recoup $4.5 million. If I told you guys you could go sue your boss for $4.5 million and there's not really a downside because the NFLPA supports you with legal, like legal fees, all that's usually covered by the NFLPA. Would you guys go sue your boss? I fucking would. So, that's kind of how I'm viewing the situation.
I'm sure doesn't he want to continue his NFL career even elsewhere? And wouldn't
this has to indicate his career's done? Like, I don't think he'll be playing football again.
So this is his last. This is the Hail Mary, right?
I would be shocked if he signs with. I mean, I guess he could sign a vet min to play, but like with the reputation of you didn't play when you were medically cleared, and now you're filing a grievance. I'm assuming his career's done.
Wow, it's just crazy, man. Because that last year before he got paid, he had that breakout year and had the 7 sacks and had the 3 interceptions, and it's just crazy. Like, what the heck happened?
Well, it was disappointing, right? Because this is the thing. Like, I got pretty negative towards Bowser last year, and that's solely because I wanted him to be on the football field. He's a good player, and he fits so well in what Mike McDonald wanted to do with the way he was we had linebackers moving everywhere. We had Travis Jones playing the 6 tech, for Christ's sake. Tyus Bowser's skill set as a linebacker that can move around, drop into coverage, do all that fits so well in his defensive framework. So my disappointment came exclusively from, I just wanted to have him on the field. I wanted another edge rusher. Ojabo got hurt. Like, we could have used him, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I think anytime you're, criticizing a player, it's because that if he's on the field and if he's healthy, that he can help the team. And there's no doubt that guy's versatility could have certainly done that. So they're going to miss him. But yeah, he did kind of, not that I really blame him, but he did kind of screw the Ravens a bit.
It's not as egregious. I'll put it this way. It's not as egregious as Earl Thomas, because that man was getting his car washed during meetings and shit.
Yeah.
Like, he was just being straight up a toxic teammate. So from his perspective, I think it's just, I have a shot to get at least some of my $4.5 million. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, he's going for it. And then I think they're hoping to get some of that versatility and continue to get some of that versatility from a guy like Kyle Van Noy. Well,
that's the thing, right? Like, would you guys sacrifice, because if Bowser plays last year, you don't have KVN, and KVN gave you,
in hindsight, he was incredible.
That's right. So
yeah, and so I'd certainly take Kyle Van Noy over him. So I'll take that. But yeah,
his comment, Chargers will take him. I guarantee he'll end up a Charger. He'll end up a damn Charger.
He freaking will, dude. You're
That's a good transition.
Actually, you know what? John might be pissed at him, and therefore Jim might have a problem with him. He might be like, you know what? You burned my brother. I'm not bringing you to my team.
Not bringing you to the Los Angeles Ravens.
Exactly. I hope we do ultimately find out that mystery, though. What happened? I need more details, but I'm guessing that at least won't come until this grievance is settled. All right. So moving on to the next topic here, we did get some clarification from the league on Zay Flowers and their internal investigation into the events in January and the alleged domestic incident. Let's see. This is a quote from the NFL, and this is via Jeff Zrebiec on Twitter here. He says, Flowers remains eligible to participate in all activities. And goes on to say, following a review, the NFL concluded there was insufficient evidence to support a finding that Zay Flowers engaged in any activity that violated the NFL's personal conduct policy. There will be no action taken by the league. So at least by that statement, we can say that Zay can now put this behind him. He can move on and continue his career. And I got to tell you, I'm thankful I guess it's hard to know what exactly happened, but I'm thankful in that if there were ever something that came out that we know for sure of what he did, and even if he was ultimately allowed to play football, it would affect how I see Zay Flowers. And to this point, he's such a lovable guy. Like, that smile, the way kids, like, he just seems like a kid who's living out his dream, playing NFL football and loving every second of it. And I feel like the fans really loved him. So it would have been devastating to see this guy get in some sort of legal trouble, ultimately not be able to play football, and the Ravens lose their one receiver that they've drafted in the first round that seems like he might actually turn out to be first round good. What's your thoughts on the Zay situation?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate how you and Jimmy kind of followed the story, because I mean, no one wants this to be true, right? Like, I don't want to cheer for a player that has that history. Yeah. That would do that. And so it was just a weird kind of approach to the whole thing, because it came out so late. I think that's what I had a hard time with. This stuff usually comes out pretty quick, and it was like weeks after, and it just, the details came out, and they just never really kind of made a whole lot of sense. And I mean, this was a big one, because you don't have to be charged or found guilty or even arrested to be suspended by the personal conduct policy. If you go back to 2018, Jimmy Smith was suspended for 4 games for violating the personal conduct policy in a similar situation, if I recall correctly. I'd have to look at
some domestic. Yeah,
it was something related to that, right? So it was, I think, threatening and emotionally abusive behaviors by Jimmy towards his former girlfriend. So they had evidence of that. So, I mean, this is where this gets tricky, right? On one hand, and they said it in the statement, there was insufficient evidence. So that, I mean, it's not saying he didn't do it. It's saying there was insufficient evidence, and that's what the police said. That's what the NFL is saying. But I would say the burden of proof required to put a personal conduct suspension is a lot lower than a criminal case, right?
Yeah.
So so that's telling me there's just
not a lot there.
There's nothing like it's and what I kept hearing when this was happening is the Ravens weren't worried. And it was, as some of the details came out, and it was kind of like, oh shit, like this looks like it could really be something. And it was still, no, we're not worried about it. So I don't know what happened. I hope if something did happen, it wasn't, I hope there was just more to the story that excuses Zay. Because again, lovable guy. We all like him. Yeah. We all hope this isn't true. But yeah, I'd say that was the last hurdle to get over, I think, in terms of, like, I can't imagine it resurfacing, right? So I think put that in the past and
move on.
Get ready for the season. I'm glad it's done before even camp starts. We're not kind of carrying another shitty, storyline into camp, right? Like, it's just focus on football now.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, and speaking of football, I want to get your take on this, because you might look at this question and be like, this guy's an idiot, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Sometimes when guys come into the league and they're so damn good when they start, some people say, well, they've already reached their peak. They're already close to the top of that mountain. And other guys come in, they go, man, that guy hasn't even scratched the surface of how good he can be. Where is Zay on that spectrum? Because he comes in the league, he looks, I mean, everyone says he's beyond his years, not just how he plays, but how he carries himself and all that. How much better can Zay Flowers get if he continues to work like we've seen him working, continues to put in that effort in the offseason and train with these high-level receivers around the league? Can he get exponentially better, or is he already near the top of how good he can be?
Oh, no, I think he can get exponentially better. And I think to focus so that I'm not just giving you guys hype for no reason, I think if I wanted to get you guys to focus on one thing to really see what I mean, if you look at the way Zay Flowers was used last year, the first 8 weeks, 10 weeks, like if we were to go look at his average depth of target, it's probably pretty low. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of screens. It was a lot of, the short shit. And that's just, that's a part of his game. I think, the nickname joystick, what he can do after the catch, I think that's part of his game. But what he can do downfield as a receiver was something that took too long, in my opinion, to get to in the offense. I kept saying, like, push the ball downfield to Zay Flowers. Mm-hmm. And they finally started to, kind of as the season went on. And then I think you saw it a little bit more in the playoffs, especially in that game against Kansas City, where, he had 5 catches on 8 targets, 115 yards, and that beautiful touchdown. And he was 1 yard away from a second touchdown, right? So that was 1 yard away from being an absolute game breaker type game. That's what I think the type of player he is. I think he was used too much early in the season around the line of scrimmage. I think he can do a lot more downfield, and I'm hoping that's a step that this offense takes. So I think there's a lot more to his game than we saw. I think we saw pieces of it. What I want to see is them consistently use him in that manner, and I think the production will follow.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear, because I did not want to hear you go, well, yeah, he's pretty much peaked out his potential. That would have been really a downer. So no, it's good to see that, so there's things like you're going to be looking at next year, not just how the Ravens use him. Is there things in his game in particular, like, man, he needs to sharpen up this, or he needs to sharpen up that? Is it just the usage, you think?
I think it's his deep ball tracking. I think that's where, or not even so much his deep ball tracking. I think it's the chemistry downfield on the deep ball between him and Lamar. That was one thing they obviously wanted to do in this offense, was take those deep shots. We saw a ton of them go to Rashod Bateman. If they get a real, big body outside wide receiver, kind of that X mold in here, that's something that I think opens him up to be more of that type of player, or have those types of, play calls to him where he's the one stretching the defense. And that's kind of in that Marquise Brown mold, right? Where he was making some of those tight sideline catches, 20, 25, 30 yards downfield. So that's really where I want to see his game kind of take the next step. One thing I think he could also do better is, and it's not that he did this bad, because there's plenty of good highlights of him doing this. But when Lamar gets into the scramble drill, is work his way back to the ball a little bit better, because when we get those broken plays and guys shake open, what he can do in the open field, and it becomes all, it becomes basically the schoolyard bullshit, right? Where everyone's out of position. The defense has been completely pulled out of their defensive shell. And then if you're able to just hit the Lamar Jackson poop game when he came back and hit Hollywood with that little flick pass, like that type of stuff, where he's kind of working himself into soft spots, and just it gives him opportunities to, again, get the ball in his hand in space, make guys miss, do what he does so well.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait to see what that guy's going to look like in year 2. Looks like he's putting in the work, and hopefully we'll see the results of that work. But now I want to get into some other things here that we just heard over the past couple of days. We saw not a bunch. We saw some key veterans speak to the media: Tyler Linderbaum, Roquan Smith. Who else am I forgetting? Strength and conditioning coach. What's his name? Oh my goodness, I had it all in front of me. But we saw press conferences from 4 individuals. Oh, Derrick Henry, of course, also spoke to. By the way, am I crazy to say that I thought every time I hear him, like I was listening to his presser at work today and there was some background noise. It was hard to hear what he was saying. Like I thought his voice would be deeper, more booming, just because of how he looks and how terrifying he is when he runs with the football. But he's a little bit soft-spoken, surprisingly, considering how gigantic he is. But I want to focus and start on asking you about some of Roquan Smith's comments, because while he didn't come out and he certainly didn't come out and roast the offense, but when asked about the addition of Derrick Henry, I thought he had a kind of an interesting take. He said that Derrick Henry, this is his quote, it's gonna make us stick to what we do. The acquisition of Derrick Henry it's going to make us stick to what we do. So the first thing I thought is, well, it's clearly a shot across the line of scrimmage to the offensive side. And obviously he's saying we didn't stick to what we do and what we do. I'm assuming he means what we do best. Do you agree with Roquan in that just having Derrick Henry in the backfield will encourage the Ravens to stick to what they do? And it seems like the players noticed it as well, right?
Well, I mean, they had to. They ran the ball 4 times. It was utterly, utterly ridiculous. I drove 6 hours for that shit. No, it was just one of those strange things that, and I think he's basically speaking to. We talked a little bit about this before we got on live, but everyone and like Greg Roman is a run guy, right? Like that's not a surprise. Everybody knows that the Chargers are going to run the football a lot. That's why running backs are going there, all that good stuff. But John Harbaugh wants to run the football. It's part of his identity. Roquan Smith is not hiding anything. They know what their identity is. I think everybody wants to see more balance. I think they are going in that direction. I think that was indicated in the signing of Todd Monken with his kind of flavor of offense. But John Harbaugh is still going to dictate that they run the football. And it did kind of feel a little bit like, because it's Derrick Henry is going to be one of the best players in this offense. And no disrespect to Gus Edwards, but Gus wasn't really the go-to guy, right? He was the goal line guy. But he wasn't the Gus of old where, he was kind of ripping off those long runs. Derrick Henry's a home run threat every time he touches the football. It's just the type of player he is. He's going to be one of the best skill position players in this offense. And there's no way you go into a playoff game where he's not going to be part of your central game plan. If it is, then everybody should be fired the next day. It's just utterly ridiculous. So it's just what they're going to be able to do in the option game with Lamar Jackson, and like Todd Monken must be just drooling over what he can do with the zone read option and the RPOs that branch off of that. Like this offense has potential to really take a step. And if you guys want a specific example, go back to 2019 and watch how often Ryan Tannehill would take off with a naked bootleg.
Mm.
That's the kind of shit they can do with Lamar Jackson. Lamar's just a little bit faster than Ryan Tannehill.
Just a bit. Just a bit. Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Ravens fans, especially the older school Ravens fans, were happy to see Derrick Henry come to town because, yeah, it's just cemented the fact that that legacy of being a run first football team isn't going anywhere. But I do think some of the younger crowd are hoping that the team kind of transforms into more of an air attack. And I guess Monken's certainly a step. Like, you're not going to ever get there with Greg Roman.
No.
So at least if we can get to a point where if a team decides they're going to load the box, that we can back them off with a proficient passing attack, then, you know, I'm all for it. But I don't mind the run first attitude here. I think that's
no, I mean, it's there. I think that people confuse run first with that's all that your QB can do. And that's not really the case. I think what makes Lamar so special is what he can do on things like bootlegs, things like RPOs. The most underrated part that doesn't get discussed enough is his decision making at the mesh point. The amount of times that he makes the correct read, whether to pull the ball, keep the ball when it's passing on an RPO, he's always making the right decision. And you're constantly putting the ball and the decision making power in your best player's hand by doing that. So having a guy as dynamic as Derrick Henry is going to naturally draw attention to the defense. And that's why I've been so focused on getting a deep threat wide receiver, because those deep shots they were taking to Rashod Bateman that they were missing, if they get a guy in here that has like that legit home run speed outside, and maybe that is a bit of Zay Flowers, but another guy too, I don't know how you game plan for this offense. There's too many. You got to bring guys up to stop the run game, but then you got to get guys back to stop the deep passing game. If they can pair that run game with a deep passing game, defenses are going to be in a hell of a pickle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And let's hope that the chemistry between Lamar and those guys gets a little bit better than we've seen as of late. Also wanted to hear your take, since, you know, nobody breaks down film like you do, Cole, and Roquan Smith also, when asked about the departure of Patrick Queen and his replacement in second-year linebacker Trenton Simpson, he said, you know, Trenton Simpson's got the talent to be the very best second-year linebacker in the league. Now, he did say second-year linebacker, so I guess that limits the competition and what he's comparing him to. But what's your take on Trenton Simpson? What you saw in a very small sample size, did you see enough to make you think this guy's got what it takes to at least be, you know, to take up those snaps from Patrick Queen? Maybe not play at that same level, but eat up a bunch of those snaps.
Yeah, I remember I did a film breakdown on his game against the Steelers when basically we rested the starters in week 18 and he kind of got a full plate. And I was really impressed with the progress, because I remember him as a prospect. He was coming out of Clemson. His primary position was listed as linebacker, but he played a ton of, I forget what they call it. It's not star. He was playing like an overhang DB at Clemson. It was weird. Mm-hmm. 2 years before he was drafted. In the year he was drafted, he played primarily inside linebacker. And I thought he showed some things like where he struggled, you know, getting in and out of gaps, getting off blocks, that sort of thing. And what he did really well, though, was he blitzed. And I just think of kind of how they used Patrick Queen last year. Some of the things that Patrick Queen made his biggest impact plays on was really just letting Roquan be in a read and react area and kind of sending Patrick Queen loose, blitzing, playing different gaps, you know, playing a lot of one gap, that sort of thing. And that's why I think Trenton Simpson's going to slide into that role so easily. And the difference between Simpson and Queen is Queen didn't really have early a guy like Roquan to like really stabilize himself, right? Mm-hmm. We knew coming out, just lack of experience. Queen didn't become a starter until like week 4 of his final college season. So he lacked all of that experience, and he kind of came in and it was like, just doesn't have a Roquan beside him. And then, you know, he developed himself, and then Roquan just kind of pushed him over the edge by giving him a Batman to his Robin. Mm-hmm. And I think Simpson's role, his job, some of the things they can do, they're going to be able to put him in a much easier position than they were able to put Patrick Queen in early in his career. And it's going to give him a lot more opportunities to be successful.
Yeah, I think people are excited to see what this guy, first of all, looks like in his second year. Like, does he put on the necessary muscle to be an every down
I love his
linebacker in
beard
the
game.
NFL?
He's got just a great beard. I respect it.
Everyone else seems to have a great beard but me. I don't know if I'll ever be able to grow one. But yeah, I can't wait to see what Trenton Simpson can do out there. I do love his explosiveness. I think he's absolutely shot out of a cannon, similarly to what we saw from Patrick Queen. But let's just hope that Roquan can be that stabilizing force for Trenton as well, and he can slide right in. I got to get your take on the transformation of Lamar Jackson since he's been here to what we're seeing from him now. I know he came in relatively slight, put on a ton of muscle in the couple years after he was drafted here. And then this season, he shows up for the beginning of the offseason workout program and is noticeably thinner than when he showed up the last couple seasons. And so some are speculating there's two different camps. There's some saying, oh, he got lazy. He's not putting on any muscle. And then there's the others say, no, he wants to lose some weight because I think some people thought he got caught in situations where most people were like, wow, did somebody caught Lamar from behind? And maybe he wants to drop a couple pounds to increase his speed. And others are saying that his arms were too big. It was throwing off his throwing motion. And that, quarterbacks with bigger arms isn't necessarily the best thing for their mechanics. So I wanted your take, Cole. What's your thoughts on skinny Lamar as I'm seeing him being called on Twitter? Is this a good or a bad thing for the Ravens?
I definitely think that it felt like he was lacking the explosiveness and that kind of, I wouldn't say second gear. I think he had his second gear. He was lacking the third gear, kind of the pull away last year. Like he still had the lateral agility where he'd make guys miss, but he didn't have like a linebacker's closing in on him and he just, pulls away. It seemed to be missing. So I do like that. I don't know enough about coaching throwing motions and the impact of larger biceps. I can't throw a football despite having my large biceps. So maybe that's what my issue is. I don't know.
That's it. Dude, get skinny like me.
So, I'm not sure about all that, but I do think it felt like he was missing that top gear last year. So I'm excited to kind of see if it makes a big difference. Because it's just, is he getting older and losing that kind of top end speed? It happens, right? So I'm really interested to see kind of how that goes. My biggest thing with Lamar has always been like Lamar doesn't protect himself when he's running the football as well as he could. And that comes down to Lamar's a playmaker. He wants to make the best play possible on every play. So he's going to fight for every yard. And that's great. Love that. Love that dog in him. But sometimes just slide, man, just get down. Like we don't need those 3 yards. You just picked up 41. It's cool. So that's all I want to see out of him this year is just take care of yourself. Don't there's been just so many times where he's like getting tackled in the middle of the field and he kind of drags for a couple of yards. And it's like, was that really worth it to take the hit or could you have just slid? So interesting to see how that develops.
Yeah. And to Tanja's point, appreciate you coming out, Tanja. I know you were a little bit late, but appreciate you joining us. The trainer did mention that, first of all, he's more excited about Lamar Jackson this year than he's ever been, which is pretty cool to hear. But also said they're working more on lean muscle than bulk. I don't know enough about building muscle to even know that there's a difference. Okay, as they said, I got twigs. Okay, for arms. So I can't speak much on that, but let's hope that. Yeah, he does maybe gain some of that explosiveness back, and it's not a sign of just him getting old and father time. But to me, don't you hit your physical peak at in your not late 20s, but he should still be flying around there. He's not an old man yet. I mean,
our boy Jimmy just hit his physical peak, so you can get into it a little bit later in life.
Yeah, Jimmy Haskell. Let me tell you, the rascal can get out of there, dude. The rascal can get up and get out of there. Don C, appreciate you watching. And you know what? I missed Asmodeus. I didn't read Asmodeus's comment earlier, and I apologize for that. But I believe it said Glenn Cole and beer, and I'm all down for that. I had a Dirty Bird crush. Things. That's right. As do I. I had a Dirty Bird crush from Pickles yesterday and washed that down with some Natty Boh. So it was a hell of an afternoon.
This just reminds me, next time I get down, we got to make a better plan to hang out. That's Dude, what I know.
My brother lives. His back door touches Pickles Pub's back door,
No
which
shit.
is literally they're like this. DK
Well,
can
listen,
attest.
what I learned during my last trip is I'm staying in Fed Hill again. That was the best part of my experience. I've done. What's on the other side of the harbor? Fells.
Fells and Canton.
So I stayed in Fells last year. Fed this year. Fed was way better.
Okay.
That's my takeaway. That's my hot take.
All right. Well, if we go to a game, you got to come hang out with me and my guys this time. Okay. You hung out with the other guys this last time.
I was everywhere. It's like this is what happens is I get down there and there's literally 500 people I want to see because I only get down there once a year and I don't plan my time well. That's my problem.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna kidnap you next time, Cole.
Done.
I'm gonna have to do it. Don C says Cole, Glenn, great stream. Wizard of Pods, DK in the back. Dude, that is an awesome. That should be your Twitter handle, DK. Wizard of Pods. That's dope. I want to shout out the 410 wives, especially my favorite, Martin. Katie Martin, you did good, Glenn. Yes, I did. Yes. Hey, Jimbo. Oh my. He's crawled out of the trunk that Cole stuffed him in. And he's cut through the back seats. And
look at the baby.
Look at the baby.
Look at the baby. Look at the baby.
And he is out of there. What happened?
No, that was such
here.
A tease.
He was here for a moment. But yes, Don C, you are right. The best Martin, no doubt, not even close, is Katie Martin. It's I mean, and she's one of the newer Martins too. I mean, I guess not that new. 14 years ago, she became a Martin. It was the best decision she ever made in her life. Asmodeus Thanatos goes on to say, best example of lean muscle other than Glenn Martin is Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee versus Arnold. Well, look, I mean,
what are we talking about here? I leave for like 1 week and we're talking about lean muscle, Bruce Lee and Arnold Schwarzenegger. First of all, shout out to Asmodeus for spelling Arnold Schwarzenegger right. There's no way he did that.
He Googled it.
There's no way he did that without Google.
That's right. No chance.
Jimbo.
What are you doing, dude? Where are you sitting, bro? Are you in a...
I took over the pod. I took over the pod and I decided I'm going to just turn it into a shitstorm.
Dude, he's sabotaging us. Remember the episode of The Office when Angela's like, what's sabotage?
That's right. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Well, look, he's alive, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. You've been asking where he is. He's right there. Jimmy Haskell. Right, he's the rascal.
We
were just talking. Hey, Jimbo, as a person who's still yet to find their physical prime, is it possible that Lamar Jackson is slowing down because of age?
No, this is. If anyone says that, that's ridiculous.
Don't call me stupid. I asked a question.
Wait, but this couldn't have come from you, right?
Right.
No, absolutely not.
I think what Jimmy's trying to say is I can't steal his spot on the show because I suggested it.
No. There's zero chance that Lamar at what, 27?
So do you think that he lost that top gear last year because of the weight gain? And do you think slim down Lamar?
I think it was a frame of mind.
That's a good point. It was an optical illusion.
Yeah. I think he was just being indecisive. I think that he thinks that the weight had to do with it, and I think it maybe had a little bit to do with it, but I think most of it was indecisiveness. Lamar Jackson got enamored with the downfield stuff, and we saw him do that in other years where he tries to make something out of nothing, and it's a difficult situation to be in. So I think the weight loss will help. I think him being in better shape will help, but I think the decisiveness will mean more than simply the weight gain. I didn't like the pooch. I'm not a fan of the quarterback body. Like, dude, you're a professional athlete. You shouldn't look like a punter. Like, I'm not saying Lamar does, but who's the quarterback?
Scout's got some arms on him, bro.
Yeah, but who's the quarterback for the Lions?
Goff?
Come on, man. What are we talking? Glenn, you always talk about like
he looks
veal?
like me, dude. He looks like me.
Jared Goff is out there straight veal. He's a baby lamb. Like, what are we doing here, Jared? Come on, man.
He can sling it though. Hey, Don C says, look, Jim calls Glenn stupid. Look at that.
No, I'm not calling you stupid. No,
he said, did they just become best friends? It was a long time ago, Don. It was a long time ago.
I think we're way too ahead of schedule for talking about that.
You know what happened here, Glenn? Jimmy showed up and told us we were doing a really shit job at managing this show.
He kicked door right in. He kicked the door right in. I knew I should have locked the deadbolt, Cole.
It's the
I should've
kick-in
locked the
door
deadbolt.
it's just Big Bird standing behind the door. That's what just that gift. That's what just happened here.
Dude, what better way to enter the show, right?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now,
All
Cole,
right.
I know you got to get running. You got to get running too, Jimbo?
I'm good.
All right. Give me a few minutes here, Jimbo. Cole, you good?
I got a few minutes, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I got to get the last thing I have on my list of things to talk about is the Ravens West. I got to give you the Chargers tweeted out their current core for their offense is Justin Herbert, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Joshua Palmer and Quentin Johnson, tight end Hayden Hurst, left tackle Rashod Slater, and center Bradley Bozeman. And, of course, led by no other than Greg Roman himself. And the guy buying all the groceries is Joe Ortiz. So what are they just literally trying to recreate the Ravens here?
Yep, I'm calling it. You ready for this?
MVP, Justin Herbert.
Well, he's going to be in the running, but I'm calling it, dude. And people are going to think they're winning the AFC West.
Whoa, hold on.
They're, the AFC West. They're beating the Chiefs. There's no one else in the AFC West but the Chiefs. I'm calling it
he
right
does
now.
this, and then he gets it right, and it pisses me off. He does this.
You know what, though? To Jimmy's point, Greg Roman offenses always do really well early.
Lightning in a bottle, man.
I don't know, though. Like, I think maybe if they add Seth Roberts, they will have that edge to be able to do it. But without Seth, they're screwed.
Miles Boykin get signed somewhere else already?
Did he? I thought. Maybe the Seahawks. Did I see the Seahawks?
Something I don't know, but that would be the finishing. That would be the finishing piece, right?
Dude, nobody can block downfield.
New York Giants.
He's signed with the New York Giants. Oh, nice. Okay. They're an excellent franchise.
That's what Danny Dimes needed, as he
said. That's where wide receivers are born and bred.
Yeah. Just no, but I'm telling you right now, I agree with Cole. It's exactly what I was thinking. The other thing too is that these defenses, we're really only talking about Chiefs, like I said. I just don't think they're built. It takes time to build yourself to beat a Greg Roman offense.
Yeah. If you're building your team to beat the Chiefs, you ain't building them to beat Greg Roman. That's for sure.
Right. And if you think about what the Chargers were before and what they're going to be now, forget about it. Totally different team.
And they got khakis. They got khakis running the sideline, baby.
And he can make guys hit their head on a wall. I mean, goodness gracious. He's going to get those boys motivated, pumped, ready to go. I'm telling you, man, they're going to win the AFC West.
Yeah, and look, Herbert will be in the discussion. It's just that first year, dude, he will be in the discussion. I have no doubt about it. Did you guys see Jim Harbaugh's living in an RV?
Is he?
Near the facility? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Or at the facility, one of the two.
So awesome. I love it, dude.
This guy loves football, man. That's all he needs is some football. But yeah, so I mean, it's pretty crazy what they're doing over there. But Jimbo, honestly, it's just good to see you, buddy. How's it?
Likewise.
You want to give anybody an update? People have been wondering what's going on.
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know, of course, I didn't really do anything except stand there and hold my wife's hand while she absolutely put on a Michael Jordan-esque performance of pushing our child out of her body. It was amazing, absolutely incredible. Like, it is this might be way corny to say. I don't care though. Like, I was so enamored by my wife in that moment that it's hard to explain. It's like, dude, you are pushing a human out of you, and it's our human. Like, this is insanity. It was really cool.
It's just weird when they let you leave with it. I'm like, oh God. I remember that both times. I was like, are you sure? Like, are you coming with me, ma'am?
Yeah.
I tell you what, I have to say though, Cole, I felt that way the first time. The second time, we did. Shout out to Mercy Hospital. The more tenured nurses were excellent. The younger nurses, I really just didn't want them in the room. I was like, okay, we can go home now.
You can.
I was like, yeah, we can deal with this at home. But no, his name is Eugene, after my maternal grandfather, Eugene Wayne, of course. Wayne is my recently deceased uncle. So super excited to have him at home. And all he does is eat, sleep, and poop.
Sounds like his dad. No, he
that's
runs
about
too.
Right.
He runs a little bit.
Runs and complains. Like, that's eat, sleep, poop, run, and complain. I think if you ask my wife what I did, that's probably about it. Yeah.
That sounds
But
right.
no,
That
we're
sounds
super
right.
happy. I appreciate the support from all you guys. Glenn obviously was super hyped for us and supportive,
Mm-hmm.
and all the love was felt. We're super happy to be home and super grateful to have our two little boys here.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Big Jimbo, daddy of two, joining Cole in the struggle. No, I'm just kidding. In the glory. In the glory.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, I won't be catching up, boys. I'm going to stick with just the
Yeah.
one, and I'll be happy. I have one prince, and that's all I need. At least that's what I tell myself because I can't have any more. What? What's up, Jimbo? What's up, man?
No,
you
I'm
gonna try and convince
excited.
her?
I don't know.
You gonna try and convince her? Why don't you try and convince? Katie can hear you. Let her hear it, dude.
Not on the show. Not on the show. Not on the show. I'm not gonna try and convince you on the show.
Okay. All right. Well, Cole, thank you.
Hey,
I gotta say goodbye.
Oh, an awesome dad.
Yes, I agree. But Cole, thank you so much for joining us.
You guys
gotta
are
go.
awesome parents.
Thank you. Keep it going. Just keep it going. I'll say bye to Cole. You just keep throwing compliments at me. Cole, you're a legend. Appreciate your time. Go have fun. Telling Raven we said what's up.
Will do.
We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Appreciate you guys. Good to see you, Jimmy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Road Graders, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done it, go subscribe.
Going up on Ing's show?
No, he's going on a different show, but Ing will be there. Ing. That's what I said. Ing will be there. Is there a show? Are the Ravens being talked about? Ing is there because that's what he does. That dude is just. I mean, you talk about a legendary supporter of the YouTube community while being the head of it. That's Ing Raven.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. The other thing I was going to tell you too is actually yesterday I saw Bobby
T
walking down the street with his dog. Hold on.
What'd you do?
Can you?
Did you?
Yeah, Bobby Trossett here walking down the road, and I had the shades and the hat on. I was like, Bobby, what's up? And he was like, what's up? And I was like, it's James, 410 Sports Talk. And he was like, oh shoot, I didn't recognize you with the shades and the glasses and the hat on, whatever. And I was like, no worries. But I think once he realized it was me, he just started to measure me up a little bit for this race that we got coming up.
Dude, he's got no chance.
I saw a little bit of.
He sized you up. Oh snap!
Yeah,
well, dude, all I know is they went from race to basketball. So next time you see him, let me know and hold a hoop over him, and I'll come dunk right on him, right on the streets of Baltimore with his puppy dog watching. That's how I roll.
Oh my gosh, freaking Chris Anderson over here.
That's right.
Oh, I love
Birdman.
Oh, that's good. No, I miss being on the show.
Yeah.
Wait, I never got your take on Lamar's. Everybody talked about Lamar's body, though. I never got your take on it.
No, I think also some of it could be the placebo effect. Like, I think he might think that some of that added weight slowed him down, and therefore it may have slowed him down. Like, it's so. I agree. I think a lot of it's the mental side of things. I don't think at 27 you reached your physical peak as a man, as an average man. And obviously Lamar Jackson is not your average man when it comes to being an athlete. So I'm excited to see what he's got. Sometimes Lamar, to me, has a bit of the it's like they said on 22 Jump Street, you can't look like you're trying hard at anything or it's not as cool. You have to look like you're not trying and yet you're still really good at it. And sometimes it's almost like he has that a bit of about him where he tries to look like he's not even trying. Like he'll do that step back where and then he'll slowly walk, like almost like, and I think he got caught a couple times because he was just trying to make it look like he wasn't trying as hard.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe that's just me,
No, I can see that definitely. But either way, I'm just excited that he's in. This is the thing I love about Lamar Jackson, that whatever his career ends up being, that this cannot be disputed. Every offseason, Lamar Jackson has come in improved physically, mentally, skill-wise. And, he's coming. People have talked about he looks bigger, in years past. He's throwing the ball better. Last year, he's throwing the balls on a dart. This year, he's getting his physical really, dialed up. I mean, I think it's really cool to see him just go to work in the offseason. That alone is a confidence builder for me. Whatever that outcome looks like may vary, but just the mental, like you said, the mental confidence of just knowing that you put in all the work, right? Like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see what Lamar Jackson can do.
Yeah, this is going to be a big, big season. Guys, before I go, I must announce I have now started my own X account, Twitter account, whatever you want to call it.
Hey,
that's right. At Glenn Martin 0 is my Twitter handle. So make sure you guys follow. I'll be a little bit more, I'll go out on some limbs a little bit more often when I'm tweeting from my own account versus if I'm answering or responding or tweeting on the show's account. So, yeah, make sure you guys go over and give me a follow at Glenn Martin 0. That's Glenn with 2 N's, Martin, and the number 0. Make sure you check out the Twitter account, and got a couple pictures up there too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My shirt might be off. No, my shirt is very much so on. I'm clothed in the photograph. Yeah, exactly. I'm just leaning back. My guy, Don C. Appreciate you. Tanja, thank you. Appreciate you. But Jimbo, I appreciate you jumping in, but we've covered it all. We've talked all that I could say. But thank you for joining us and showing your face and letting people know you're not locked in any trunk. You haven't been replaced by Draftplex, by Cole Jackson, or anyone else.
Nope. Well, that's the thing, Glenn. Cole couldn't catch me. He tried.
That's right. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't even do it.
That's what it is, dude. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me to hop on. And I'm looking forward to next week. We'll see you guys sometime next week.
Nice, my guy. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it's not, look, he's doing it. It's not paid maternity leave, guys. I got to be honest with you. We ain't paying this guy. But that's it for us tonight. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about all our topics tonight, and we will see you soon.
See ya.